Okay, and we're live on YouTube. So welcome everybody to the Pyramid Science Foundation's YouTube page. My name is Lisa Richards, and this is Charlie Zeese. And our guest today is Alena Rudkouskaya. Oh, I did mess it up. I'm sorry. Rudkouskaya.
That's right.
Is it? Okay. Yes.
Good enough.
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm bad with names. But Alena is a beautiful soul that has been following our work for a long time, and she's been utilizing the pyramid power for her biofield tuning work. And she's going to actually do a live biofield tuning for us today. But let me do a little intro for Alena real quick, and then she can tell you what's going to go on today. So all her life, Alena was fascinated by anything related to a healthy lifestyle. The right food choices and holistic healing were her main interests. At the same time, she chose to pursue a scientific career in biology since it was the closest field to her primary interest. Shortly after receiving her PhD degree in plant physiology in her home country, Belarus, Alena moved to the United States with her family to start a new life. During 20 plus years of successful research in biomedical science, her passion for alternative healing modalities continued to grow in parallel. She acquired Reiki training, other energy practices, and accumulated vast knowledge in many modalities to maintain energetic balance in our bodies. Recently, frequency healing via sound therapy, especially biofield tuning with tuning forks, got her attention and spurred her spiritual awakening. Eventually, she was purged from academia for non-compliance with the mandates, which launched her into the biofield tuning world. We're blessed to have her there too. Alena started her YouTube channel with how-to videos explaining the essential elements for robust health and resilience. And she also offers personal sessions. So welcome, Alena. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I'm so happy to be here. You guys almost like a family to me. I remember clearly about a year ago when our meetings first started, someone from the participants mentioned, we were discussing how Russian pyramids, like Stargate pyramids, are helpful to maintain vitality and this and that. For healing, very good for healing. And then one of the participants mentioned casually, you know what, I'm a healer. And instead of putting my client inside the pyramid, I am sitting inside the pyramid and doing my energy work. And I found that this is really, really powerful and efficient. And I remember that. So when the time came and I was out of job and frantically thinking, oh my gosh, how do I insert myself into healing business? I'm so bad with self-promotion. So at the moment, and still, I'm absolutely fascinated and in love with sound therapy, biofield tuning in particular. And I thought to myself, I can carve a very nice niche for my personal work. Just look at this. I have a very special pyramid, sacred geometry power to enhance, to amplify whatever input I put out there with my intentions, with my sound therapy. So the output would be also amplified and much, much better. And guess what? That gave me so much confidence that I'm capable to do this. And time and again, I get confirmation that this method, biofield tuning, especially in combination with the Stargate pyramid, is just unsurpassable, really. And I hope you will feel it yourself today, what it can do. And just so on my YouTube channel, I have a playlist with my videos explaining all the bolts and nuts of biofield tuning method, which was developed originally more than 20 years ago by Alena. I totally admire and I'm fascinated by this woman and her work. She's like a role model for me. But for today, I just give you basic principles, like premises of this method. So biofield tuning addresses two super important aspects of our health in any regards. It's electrical health which not many people are aware of, because well, anything is energy. This community totally realizes this fact. That means that we are not only humans, but all the living beings, and probably not living as well, are made of sounds, made of waveforms, right? That's why we are so well responding to the sound therapy. And in fact, sound therapy, sound healing, is a perfect bridge between spirituality and hardcore materialistic science in many, many ways. In addition to that, by addressing electric health, because biofield is an electromagnetic field surrounding and penetrating our bodies. It has a form of torus with the two terminals, and it acts as a capacitor pretty much. So we have a Earth star underneath our feet, about 1 foot underneath our feet, through which ascending electric current, negatively charged from the Earth, comes through the central channel. And also we have a sun star above our crown chakra to provide descending current from the sun and from the cosmos in general. So these currents intertwine. It's basically explain what this ancient Indian tradition says about Sushumna, central channel, and Ida in Pingala. So this is what we're talking about right now. So when these currents are weakened, or one of the terminals, sun star or Earth star, is not functioning properly, our battery voltage goes down, our energy goes down, and then how we start feeling not only our best, but that's how all kind of physical issues start to accumulate. So this is one part, electrical part of biofield tuning. Another very important part is that biofield, in addition to providing this energy currents, serves as a personal record of all our experiences, lifetime experiences, memories, traumas, negative self-beliefs, negative programming, everything and anything traumatic and heavy and dense is recorded within our biofield in the form of energetic blockages, distortions, pockets of frozen energy that prevents free flow of energy circulation within our biofield. So sound therapy, tuning forks in particular, can detect all these blockages, all these distortions, providing this input of sound. And because of all these waveforms not, incoherent, out of balance, out of tune, basically, the quality of sound of tuning forks become different. Not only we perceive it, like practitioner and people who are experiencing biofield tuning, but also our innate organizing intelligence, the magical part of our being, also gets awareness of these distortions, of this imbalance, of this incoherence, and automatically self-adjusts. What we're dealing with is auto-tuning, pretty much, just like musical instrument. So in this regard, biofield tuning provides so efficient and so effortless modality, often a way to address all kinds of emotional traumas, including those that we have no awareness whatsoever, including intergenerational traumas, because let's face it, babies come into this world preloaded with all kinds of programming from an ancestral line to basically ancestral lines from father and mother's side. So biofield tuning is capable to clear all this junk as well. As well, not junk, well, let's not use strong judgmental words, but something not productive, okay, that prevents us to feeling our best, to live our best life and reach our highest potential. Any questions so far?
I don't have a question, but I just have a comment. You know, the generational programming that we're born with is super powerful. You know, fears specifically that you have, that you don't know where they originated from. You know, they can come from a lineage down the line. Yeah, there was actually a scientist, and I can't remember the name, but he did an experiment with mice. And every time he would introduce the smell of cherry blossoms to these mice, he would give them an electrical zap. So they learned to fear the smell of cherry blossoms. The second generation of mice that were born were never zapped. They didn't know anything about it, but they were just born terrified of the smell of cherry blossoms. And that's just the second generation. So just see how far ours go back. You know,
that's a very good point, Lisa. It's a brilliant experiment, basically confirming what we are accumulate through all these generations. So all the good stuff, because we are offsprings of survivals, right? Otherwise we wouldn't be here right now. But also all this, you know, grave and dense and the heavy stuff that goes with it, survival process. But the good news is that after we remove all this incoherence and balance ourselves, tune completely with our true nature, and being in tune with our environment, like Earth and sun and stars. So what I'm trying to say is that underneath of all this noise and static and traumas and everything lies so much light, so much coherence, vitality, syntropy, levity, you know, all this good stuff that we are meant to experience, but we can't because of all this baggage. So this is what we're going to do today. First, I will check our terminals. Oh, a few words about the distant remote biofield tuning. Obviously, originally, this method was developed on one-on-one basis. In fact, Alena started she was so observative, so analytical, and at the same time highly intuitive person, which is kind of rare combination. And she started her massage practice at some point as a hobby. And she ordered tuning forks within the solfeggio scale. It was really popular and still is very popular. And started using it, experimenting. She's really into research. So she waved one of the forks with her clients, and she was amazed that next time when they came back, they demanded to repeat this tuning fork treatment because it helps to relieve pain, to get rid of all kind of issues. So she started exploring this further and further, and she found that Biofield has a, expands from the center of the body about 6 feet in each side, and it has a double plasma membrane at the edge, and the edge corresponds to gestation, and everything forward to the center corresponds to each year we live. So basically, inserting tuning forks into Biofield, it's similar to inserting the needle into the record to play our lifetime songs with all this good and bad stuff happening. What was I getting at? Oh, remote, and not only remote tuning, but also group tuning. How does it work? I'll start with the banal point that we all are one at some level. So we're all connected. And even at the physical level, we are connected through the quantum field or ether, which is a non-scientific name for, biofield, quantum field and ether is one and the same. It's just frowned upon the name ether, but nevertheless. So every thought, every emotion, every intention that we put out is stored in the quantum field. That means any energy work, including sound therapy, is available through the quantum field or ether. And also, when we do this kind of work, we put an intention. We create energetic container where we put hologram of all the participants of this call, of this live stream, not only watching live, but also anyone who ever watched the recording of this session, so that everyone will benefit from this tuning. So let's start. Let's start with the 3 grounding breaths through the nose, directing our exhale to the feet, to the bottom of our feet and down to the earth. Okay, 3 times. Very good. So now what I'm gonna do, I create a hologram, just using my mind, my intention, collective hologram of all the participants right here in front of me inside the Stargate pyramid. And I will start with the tuning session with adjusting Earth Star, one of the terminal of our battery, so to say. And I'm using fork 174 Hertz. What I'm doing basically just listening to the sound of this to detect if any adjustments are needed. So basically your job is to sit back, maybe even lay down, get yourself comfortable, be open and receptive, and just observe what's going on in your body with your emotions. I'm going to breathe a lot with a really forceful exhales. That's how I ground the energies that I'm going through my body to discharge all of these distortions. And I highly recommend, if you hear me breathing heavily, do the same. And basically follow your innate body signs. If you need to make some sound or loud breathing, like just go with it. If you feel like you need to do some shaking, do it. Whatever body tells you to do. Okay, this sounds really good, and I can feel that the ascending channel is really getting strong and powerful. Now I'll turn around the hologram so the collective head is towards me. And I do the same process with the sun star. Feel kind of resistance. And when I come across this situation, I prefer use unweighted 144 hertz. Sorry, weighted fork, which has a, this kind of weighted barrels on the tines, on the ends. This fork does not produce any sound, but it has a very powerful effect, like almost grinding through all kind of energy distortions. So it really speeds up the process. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, guys, I think it's good enough for now. And to finish up the process of amplifying the current in the central channel, I will use my Fibonacci pair. It's a special pair of weighted tuning forks designed by Alena. One is 89 hertz, another is 144 hertz, and together they are part of the Fibonacci sequence with 100 hertz or whatever. No, it's probably not, but anyway, the idea is to insert each one of those into the both terminals, sun star and earth star, to amplify the current, electric current in the central channel. I'll do one more time. I don't know how about you guys, but I'm already feeling so much of relaxation because this sound therapy activates production of nitric oxide, which relaxes nervous system. It activates vagus nerve, parasympathetic nervous system. That's why sound therapy is so powerful. Not only powerful, so enjoyable above all. All right. When we discussed with Lisa the major theme of today's biofield tuning, I offered to do clearance of fears and anxiety and maybe depression. But honestly, why just limit ourselves to these emotions? Let's just tune in into collective and see what's ready to come up, see what wants to work on, and we'll go from here. And again, I'm going to use 174 Hertz. This is our default workforce in biofield tuning community. Not because it's designed to, well, 2 words about the using tuning forks choosing. Biofield tuning practitioners are extremely pragmatic and efficient bunch. The only criterion to choose one fork or another is if it does necessary work to release, to relieve, to clear all these blockages as efficiently as possible. And in that regard, 174 Hertz was deemed most useful, most efficient. In addition to that, I'm going to use probably weighted 144 Hertz because it's super powerful, although it doesn't give as much of feedback in terms of sound production, but that's okay. And we'll finish up with a totally angelically sounding high frequency tuning forks, 417 and 528 Hertz. All right, let's start. Yeah, straight out of the what do you call it? Of the bed. The sound of this very, very muted, very, very muffled, which is an indication of I don't want to say depression, but definitely not the brightest feelings. Yeah, very much distorted, which is not surprising at all, given that so much of uncertainties we're living through, and the collective anxiety levels probably of the scale. Yeah, tense resistance. Okay, why don't we clear this 144 Hertz? The thing with the biofield tuning is that all these records of traumas and fears and whatnot, everything that weighing us down, is not stored in one place only. It comes in layers, which much like imagine like vending machine. We took one item from the front and instantly the next one pops out, depending how you look at it. So if we stay in the same exact spot, eventually we'll find another distortion after another and after another. I don't think it's really worth it because I believe that our infinite innate wisdom knows better how much to release at one session. It's not to overwhelm, not to put ourselves in a heavy detox, like healing crisis afterwards. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, As always, when we move with energy, when we work with energy and move lots of heavy stuff, it's very important to be well hydrated before, during, and after session. So please don't hesitate to write. Excellent. And also to eliminate the possibility of heavy, healing crisis afterwards, potential. Not everyone, but quite a few of us are very prone to this reaction. It's highly recommended to use salt bath to discharge all this heaviness, energy. It could be, whole body salt bath with Epsom salts or regular salts. Himalayan salts is excellent, or at least, foot bath. It's much easier, much simpler. All right. Okay, this sounds much better. You know what? Going back to 144, because it doesn't resolve as much as well as I wanted to. I wish I had this, well, someday I will get this intuitive insight to read what is it exactly, because some people, Eileen McCusick, for example, is amazing at reading this kind of information. It's not necessary really, because the process is automatic. As I explained, we have this basically software to read all this output and self-adjust, harmonize, and bring ourselves back into coherence. But it's just interesting, don't you think? what we're dealing with. I mean, obviously I can get the rough idea. So this is depression, this is alarm, this is the pain, this is rage, just based on the sensations, like tactile sensations and the sound distortions. But sometimes it's not as obvious. which doesn't matter at this point. Okay, it sounds almost normal. So I'm gonna switch to the high frequency forks. This is for 17. It has a, well, besides the totally pleasant, angelic sound of itself, it gives such a harmonizing and balancing feeling for our, the whole being, not only physical level, but very, very deep energetic level. These high frequency forks become very useful when we deal, like, roughly with the major distortions, and then we want to pick up in clear, more fine, more so to say, it's like fishing net, basically, with different size holes to pick up different sorts of distortions. So and this is 528. Yeah, and it's not perfect. I can tell you right away. That means not everything was cleared, which is okay. Charlie, how much time do we have? Should I wrap it up to have time for questions, maybe?
I would leave a little time for questions, but you can work a little longer if you need to.
Okay, just a few more strikes. It's interesting how first initial distortions kind of getting more and more harmonious, like self-corrects even through the sound of tuning fork. And this is, how do you say, binaural, for 17, 528 together, which produce such a harmonizing, heart-brain coherence-inducing effect. Honestly, if you have these forks in your possession at home, 528, 417, or any other, like from solfeggio set, use it every day, just, next to your ears or next to your heart. This is so healing, so balancing. It's, I think it's essential part of our self-care routine, if you resonate with this kind of routine. one last time. Oops. Little striker. That sounds very good to me. And it will conclude our Biofield tuning session. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and doing this together.
Thank you, Alena. Lots of love to you. That was wonderful.
I'm glad. I hope everyone is deeply relaxed and ready for the next challenge after the rest, right?
I have a question or a couple of questions. For me, I noticed that when you were striking the forks that had the weights on the ends, that for some reason that was more, I could feel that more than the other ones. And I wondered if that was a function of the specific frequency of the fork, or if it had to do with the weights themselves, and maybe it was changing the frequency into some harmonic that maybe was easier for the body to accept. I don't know, just a throw out question there.
I'm sure everyone is different, despite that we are all made of sound and everything like that. But everyone is responding in a different way. Whatever resonates better, the best. For you, for example, and some other person that also extremely sensitive to the sounds that I'm working with on a regular basis, she perceives these weighted forks like very, very strong, like almost bubbles of energy going through the body.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe despite the fact that they do not produce the sound, the vibrations are super powerful. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a special fork, like Fibonacci pair set. It's just like a grinder, really. The effect is unbelievable. Actually, Alena McCusick recently launched a new unweighted sound, like 144 fork. And the prototype that she used first was kind of weird in the sense that the sound it produces 144 hertz, but like sound making fork. So sharp, so unpleasant. But once you're used to it, once you accommodate, the community found that this 144 unweighted fork is way more superior than a previous workhorse 174 hertz. Why? Because unlike 174, like very polite, very mild, like pleasant sounding, it goes to the places that we don't want to go at all. So it brings much more power to this work. Not only that, in one of her recent videos, Alena mentioned that after using this 144 unweighted fork, she noticed on herself, like doing this group tuning session, she noticed even people not participated, like her family member, started to exhibit the benefits that she was aiming at. Basically, she claims that after using this fork, people become broadcasting this frequency, like ripples on the water, which is amazing, really. So by doing this kind of work, not only we benefit ourselves, but also all our generations before and after us as well, because it affects ancestral lineage as well. And this modality, honestly, I would love to believe that the sound music therapy, sound therapy, biofield tuning is the real future of medicine, if anything.
I would
Because-
agree.
Because it's capable to eliminate, the sources of all kind of diseases, illnesses from our field, first from our body, but that are already been manifested, but also the diseases that in the making that we do not feel it yet, but they are also present already in our energy field.
Sure.
So we're doing great service to humanity by doing this work. Margie, do you have a question?
Yes. Thank you. That was beautiful. I resonate very deeply with sound. And when you said that there was some resistance, I did have a question relating to the frequencies. When you're the tuning fork sound frequency, and that's removing the distortions that's in the field. Does that change the frequency, or does that move the frequency off to another place, or how does that change it? And does the frequency change, or is it gone for good, or does that frequency have to be tuned over and over again in order to change that frequency?
Wow, that's a very good question, Margie. We're using sound frequency for two purposes: as a diagnostic tool to locate, to identify the field of the distortion, right? And then we also use it as a feedback to see how much is cleared, because when I keep striking in the feeding this sound into this distortion pocket, I'm doing it until the sound becomes normal again, bright, rich, with all these overtones, undertones present as it should be. And that's a sign that the feedback output, basically, that this particular issue is resolved. It doesn't mean that something else will come out, surface
Right.
at some point, but at this moment it's done. We can move on. This is how it works.
Okay.
Well, normally, originally, this work is done through the special routine, special protocol. It's called calming. When practitioner, after adjusting, this terminal, sun star, earth star, we start at the edge of the biofield, which corresponds to the gestation period, and going through all this biofield, through all the records, hearing for sensing the resistance, removing all this noise and static, and basically gathering all this trapped energy, frozen energy to the center, back to the circulation. First, we start to one side. Left side corresponds to the feminine side and the relationship with mother. Right side, left side corresponds to the masculine aspect of our being and the relationship with our father. Basically, there is a biofield anatomy.
Oh.
Yeah, that sort of it's a result of research by Alena and other practitioners to locate most typical characteristic size that corresponds to this or that distortions or problem, emotional problem. So it also helps. It's not like carved in stone because there's always variations, but it's really helpful. And this is, by the way, ancestral rivers on both sides that we can adjust as well to help our parents, our children to overcome problems as well.
And another question I had about you're picking up what you feel as anger or depression or a disease. And while you said earlier in the treatment that you were picking things up, I had to wonder if you could feel like an entity attachment, because I was at the hospital earlier today, and when you go to a hospital, if you're not fully protected, you could pick up these entities and then walk out with them. So that's what popped into my mind when you were doing it. Not to mention, I'm always a little resistant to letting go of things. So that may have been it too. I'm a tough coconut sometimes, but I was wondering if the entity may be aspects like spirits around and stuck into the biosphere too. Does that have a feeling?
I never focused on this aspect of our health. One of the reasons for that biofield tuning is designed not to help with ascension, like up and away, vibes up always and everything. It's kind of opposite. It's designed, or at least one of the purposes of biofield tuning, to firmly ground ourselves in the body. So the earth, go to the low chakras, to embody our energy, because one of the reasons why we're in this earth is to enjoy our bodily functions.
Yeah. Grounding is wonderful. That's one of the things that I could most benefit from. And I loved this session. It was wonderful. And I could feel the release. And whatever was going on in here is gone now. So
I'm so glad. Thank you for saying that. But as for your question about entities, really, I have a feeling that, well, it's not just a feeling, it's basically a common concept that all these negative attachments, entities, are capable to do these attachments only when we have distortions, basically. When we fixated on something, like we are fully immersed in our emotional problems, fears, depressions, this kind of unproductive behavior and emotions. It's not like they are not valid, or it's valuable as anything else, but when we are fixed on that, that's when the problems start. So in that regard, biofield tuning could be also very, very helpful, because when we remove all this noise and static and all this stuck energy, we automatically, translate, broadcast much higher vibrations, much more coherence and balance that have no place for any attachments anymore. Don't you think?
Thank you. Thank you.
Were there any other questions? I think
Donna has
Yeah, I was.
Go ahead.
I had a question.
Go ahead, Donna.
I think my connection is kind of going in and out a little bit.
Yeah,
but anyways,
we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was just a question because I've been dealing with my niece this week, who is suicidal, and I've been, in close contact with her. And I was wondering when she was, when Lena, when you were talking about the depression you were sensing, if it could have been something to do with her.
Could be, absolutely, because if you are in such a raw state of emotional state about your niece, obviously you have it in your field, obviously it was detected as well. Well, hopefully your niece will feel a little bit better, because we're connected anyway, right? But it's yeah, I
right.
feel for you.
All right.
It's really tough.
But her niece should also, she really much participated in this healing as well. So she should feel some relief from this as well, correct?
Yes.
Well, you can direct your niece to this video recording. So maybe if she's into this kind of, I hope, modality, healing modalities, so she can benefit again and again. Because every time we listen to this, different kind of issues could be resolved. This is endless possibilities, basically.
Awesome.
Right. So how will we be able to access this recording?
It's going
to be on YouTube. As soon as we're off of this, as soon as we're over, it's going to be on YouTube. We're actually live on YouTube right now.
Okay.
So you'll be able to watch it on YouTube after this.
Okay.
And then let's just take one more
If you could
question,
send-
Alena. Yashalsi, did you have a question?
Yeah. Hi, guys. So it was a really interesting session for me. I could actually feel, something happening in my stomach. Like I was feeling warm, and even my upper back was a bit stiff, and I felt much, lighter. It's actually kind of magical. I couldn't explain it, but so I have a few questions regarding this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this therapy, right? Can we have? Have we identified any practical applications, like in terms of performance enhancement, like accelerated learning or healing? I mean, I do see, like you were saying, like some emotional trauma issues, depression, right? In the same way, we can use it for productive purposes as well, like learning, enhanced learning.
Learning.
Do we see
I
any?
believe so. I think so. Alena McCusick, in her book about biofield tuning, she mentions case study when a person with attention deficit disorder, or who was heavily medicated since the childhood, was able to overcome and get off of the meds just doing this type of work. It took obviously more than one session, but eventually it was really, really beneficial. He basically got his life back. Was fully
And yeah,
functionable.
I mean, it also eliminates the dependency to keep taking medication. So that's pretty.
Yes,
It'll improve
because
your
they're
lifestyle in a
toxic.
big way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. So the other question I have is, do you have any kind of training sessions to, especially I'm interested, like, to learn this, the whole thing. I know it's a bit vast topic, and I also checked out your website. You're offering sessions, right? For
Mhm.
like, but you also offer a training kind of a thing. Like you discuss so many frequencies and uh, so many things, right, in this session, like how to do, to what to do for what, like for this thing, this is how you diagnose, and then once it becomes natural, it goes away. It becomes, you're telling that to the other person here, like that's how you diagnose and also kind of solve the issue, right? Once it becomes
Yes.
natural, then it becomes we know that it's kind of resolved, the issue, whatever issue the person had come for. So in that sense, is there any trainings that you have planned in the future?
Training. I'm not in a
Yes,
position to train. For that, you have to go to the Alena McCusick site, biofieldtuning.com. She offers classes, like both for the beginners and for certification as a practitioner. So I would go there first.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Definitely I'll check it out. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your feedback. I really appreciate. I'm so glad you feel better. Your back is easier.
Yeah, really, ma'am. Really. I mean, it's kind of magical, but it really. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, guys. I think we're done. Right? You're muted, Lisa.
Sorry. Could you just touch real quick, Alena, on how the pyramid helps enhance your healing sessions?
I guess, guys, you know much better about the healing properties of pyramid.
Well, Yashalski actually commented on YouTube and asked if the pyramid energy could be overwhelming for some, too much for some people. And yes, it definitely can be. Charlie and I used to go to expos and we'd have some pyramids set up, and some people that were very sensitive to energy would sit inside and jump right out because they were blasted with so much energy, they couldn't handle it. But then on the opposite end, you have the people who usually don't feel energy. And when they utilize the Russian geometry pyramids, they sit inside and they can actually feel energy for the first time. As a healer, though, it's very important to utilize the pyramid as a tool to help enhance your sessions. You're going to connect more with your clients. It's an amplifier of energy. It's going to send that out a lot faster. They're going to receive the energy faster, the healing faster. Clients, though, you have to kind of be leery, because to utilize the Russian geometry pyramid, you have to be very mindful of your thoughts. And when you're in a healing session, you're getting overwhelmed sometimes with past emotional trauma and things like that. So you might be overwhelmed by utilizing it during a healing session. So just keep that in mind, everybody, when you join us. If you're joining us for a healing session like today and you're sitting inside your pyramid and it's getting too overwhelming, you might just want to step outside of it for a little bit and then jump back to it later when you're more mindful of your thoughts.
Yeah, I had posted that question on YouTube. My question was like, is there a way to tone it down? The pyramid has a set kind of energy, but I know, the people who are too sensitive to energy, high level, they cannot take it. I was like, the first time I sat in this pyramid, I was feeling like, my mind was like kind of whirling. I was feeling like I was feeling dizzy, and it was too much for me. So what I did was, I took breaks. I spent 5 minutes in the pyramid, then go for a walk, and also have some salt bath, all that. But going ahead, it would be nice if we found a way to kind of have different grades. I don't know if there is any research on that, but if there's a low, A, B, C, like if you have that C grade where expert practitioner is using, and they're really strong with energies, they can handle it, something like that. But it's just a thought out there. It may not be there, but it's something to think about.
Well, another thing that you can utilize is a grounding mat. That's what I have at my feet. My feet are just on the grounding mat, so I'm constantly being grounded as well when I'm inside. So that might help you as well. But like I said, it can get overwhelming for some people. And I like to tell people, I've said this numerous times, but the Giza pyramid, it's more of a subtle energy. It might be for more beginners with pyramid energy. It's going to help with better sleep and for people to calm their mind, to get into the meditative state. The steeper the angle, the faster the connection. So the more powerful it's going to be, the faster it's going to connect to source, your higher self. So it can be a little overwhelming. This isn't the same geometry as the Nubian pyramid. The Nubian's kind of an in-between with a 72-degree angle. This is a 76.345 degree angle. So it's like the high-speed internet, where the Giza would be the DHL, the dial-up connection, I guess.
Well, this is a very important note. Thank you for bringing this up, Lisa. Yeah. It never crossed my mind that this treatment could be overwhelming for some people. Yeah. Well, maybe next time I should set an intention to receive only that amount that is, safe and beneficial without any overwhelm, basically.
To add a little bit to that last question, in my book, after you get through all the pictures in the front and you're convinced that this geometric angle is pretty significant because it's everywhere in architecture, I go through some original research on this topic, and I explain the power of this pyramid and why it's stronger from the perspective of wave coherence. And I really think that ultimately coherence is the name of the game, whether it's in health or any other aspect of our well-being. So this geometry of pyramid, I have proven, is the most effective at providing complete coherence in the wave, so that's why it works so well as a resonance chamber. So anyway, I'm not going to try to explain it here, but there is, and this is research nobody else has done before, to be honest. So you might want to check it out.
Awesome.
Thanks,
well, definitely
thanks for sharing your chance.
Yes. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Alena. Thank you, everybody. Donna, did you have one more question? Her hand might just still be up.
We
But-
forgot to put it back.
Yeah, well, let's just wrap it up then. And we really thank you, Alena, for being here today. Next week, we have Peter
Thank
D
you
with
so
us.
much.
Yes, it was an honor to
Yeah,
have you.
yeah, I want
Thank
to
you.
name definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm
thank
sure
you.
Alena will be back with us
It's such a
soon. We
pleasure.
would love to have you back again sometime.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Charlie,
Have a
did you have
good
any
day,
announcements?
Well, Sunday night, this has been postponed way too many times, but I believe I will be on Richard Hoagland's Other Side of Midnight on Sunday for 3 hours discussing my book. You can find access to that either real time or on a delayed basis at theothersideofmidnight.com.
And then you have something with the portals to ascension as well.
Yeah,
too,
I
right?
will be also doing next week an interview with Portal to Ascension. And I'm not sure, I know when we're going to do it. It's next
The
bear
29th,
with
I
me.
believe.
29th, I think you're right. It's yeah, Wednesday afternoon. But I'm not sure when that'll air, if that's a live stream or if it's going to be recorded later. I'll have to tell you next week.
Okay, and
I'll
we'll share it in the
probably-
newsletter too. We'll send that,
Yeah.
we're sending that out every week just to keep people updated. And like I said, Peter D, Charlie knows him. He's going to be with us next week, next Wednesday at 1:11 as well. And he's going to be talking on some interesting topics for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to it.
That's
Lisa,
right.
Yes, Donna.
would it be possible for you to send that YouTube link to Telegram?
Yeah, it's already on there.
Oh,
It should be
perfect.
already on there. I'll see if it should be. I know I shared it on there already, but it should be on there as well.
Yes, it's there. I saw it. Sorry for the email.
Okay. And yeah, Peter's going to be talking about how to access your own internal guidance. So I put a little bit about him on the newsletter, and you can find his event already posted on our YouTube channel as well. But thank you so much, everybody, for being with us. It's lovely to be back, and we love having you all here.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, I need to stop the recording.